Vic. I'm so excited to have you featured.
I'm so excited to be here.
I miss you terribly. You and Trace, I can't even stand it.
We miss you so much. It's
And
been way too long.
Well, this COVID thing, can I just say, right?
Yeah.
How did you guys weather the storm?
You know, we just can't complain because we did weather it and we're through it, and we're in a place now mentally where we're like, oh my gosh, our numbers are hitting pre-COVID. So
Wow.
it's really exciting we're kind of shocked. It's been a year and we're getting back in the swing. So we're feeling good about it and trying to forget what an awful year it was.
Well, tell us about the size of your staff. Give us some.
Yes. So 11 hairstylists now. We have 7 associates on staff, 4 or 5 front desk team. And we have a couple what we call littles, which are our helpers. They
Littles?
Littles. They're amazing. They're high school students that are interested in the industry. So we started this about 5-6 years ago. We started hiring a few high school students that are interested in, they know this is what they want to do.
How often?
And they work for us in the evenings, and we help them through beauty school, and then they land right back here with us. And we've got 2 really great success stories with that.
So tell me about the associate program. Tell the audience or the listeners why you call them associates.
Sure, absolutely. So our top level staff, our staff they meet with us every month. We go over their goals, we do evaluations, and we make sure they're either hitting their goals. If they're not hitting their goals, we coach. It's just we do it the first Wednesday of every month. And so when they get up to a point where they're actually what we call an educator in the salon, they've earned the right to have an associate work with them exclusively. So we'll bring on, usually they bring them on because they're in the schools recruiting a lot. But they'll know who they want to bring on and have as their associate. And it's kind of like when I watched your talk with Gino, and you had said, when you went to work in the restaurant industry, when you started or people started, you wanted them to be with to train under the very best trainer or the very best employee in the building.
Exactly.
That's what the associate program is.
So you've got 3 different levels. If I'm saying this right, we
actually have 4.
Go ahead.
4 levels plus an associate.
Why don't you explain the 4 levels?
So once you come on as an associate, you work with an educator who is a level 4. Which is our highest. We go up to level 4 and 4A. But what you need to do as an associate, of course, you're working side by side with an educator. Your hands are in the hair. You're learning everything you need to learn. You're learning all your haircuts, doing color classes. You're applying root color. You're blowing out those guests. So you're getting a lot of hands-on training as an associate.
So let's go back, because you made that sound too simple. One of the things that we've had in our little private conversations on the phone is if we were to interview your assistants / associates, what would they say their number one responsibility is?
Their number one responsibility is to run their educator's day. So that means they're helping their educator or their level 4 designer to look at their book, look at what their day looks like, know where their place is going to be throughout the day, know where they're going to be applying color for that designer, know where they're going to be doing blow dries for that designer, shampoos, all of those things. But they're working in the hair. It's really great. They're not just assistants coming on and sweeping hair and doing shampoos and folding towels. That's not their main job. Their main job is to learn how to be a hairdresser by running an educator's day and help. It's beautiful. I mean, they help them everything from recommending retail to their guests for them, reminding their guests what their educator may be recommended to them, rescheduling their next appointments. So they do a lot, but it's all within the hair realm.
But the beauty of it is they might not even know, but they're learning how to pace themselves at the gallery.
Absolutely. They're learning exactly how to be a really successful stylist.
Well, and the footprints of success when someone is not busy is very difficult to teach. So for them to witness and be responsible, and I'm going to take you there in my questioning in just a second, but for them to know their contribution. I mean, certainly, I'm sure they're folding towels like the rest of the staff is.
Sure.
I'm sure they're doing all the maintenance that's necessary for the salon to be able to operate professionally in the front of the house.
Right.
But they're learning hair, they're learning dialogue, they're learning chairside manner, they're learning pace and speed, and that's what I'm so drawn to.
Yes.
I mean,
they're learning from the best of the best in the building.
I love that.
Yes.
So here's what happens and then we're going to go back to the associate program.
Okay.
The first thing is I'm a hairdresser who currently is growing or building. Tell me about those three.
Yeah, the in-between levels, level 1, 2, 3. So an associate, actually, once they've kind of earned their stripes, they earn one day at a time until they get their whole week full of just opportunity shifts for them to take clients. And then they become a level 1. So a level 1 then has goals that they know they need to meet each month, that if they meet those goals 3 months in a row, then they'll graduate to a level 2.
But they're a hairdresser without assistant privileges. They're
Yes.
a hairdresser who is building.
They're a hairdresser who is building, and not only are they building, but they've learned how to ask for guests. So that's another really beautiful thing about it, is that a lot of times people don't want to recommend their stylist to their friends because they can barely get in themselves, right?
Exactly.
So these associates, the clients fall in love with them. And then the associates in level 1s can ask those established guests, hey, I'm a level 1 now. I'm getting to do my own book. Can you recommend your friends and family? And of course, that person's touched their head so many times that guest trusts them. And so they're making recommendations to the salon as a whole. So they get a lot of referrals as level 1s and 2s and 3s.
So I'm a hairdresser who is building. And then what am I then? A hairdresser who's building. I thought there were 3 of them because
so there's a level 1. So once you're a level 1, you got all your days of hair, you're not an associate anymore. And you're working on your own books. So you're building. Once you meet your goals 3 months in a row, you become a level 2. A level 2 then gets to work more daytime and start to come off the nighttime and Saturday shifts, because our associates and our level 1s, they do clients strictly on evenings and Saturdays. That's where they're going to build. It just makes sense, right?
Yes.
So a level 4 might just work 3 days a week, 3 6-hour days, and they make ungodly amounts of money because of the volume they're able to do by having these associates to be extra hands for them.
So I remember when Maggie taught me this, Maggie said, this is an associate. This is they become a level 1 and they're a level 1 who is building, but they still could be used as an associate while they're
absolutely building. So there's no downtime. That's a good point. If they're a level 1 and they have holes in their day, they're absolutely helping other designers, because level 2s and 3s can be very busy. They need to be very busy to meet their goals, but they haven't received their own associate yet. So there's always people helping each other.
So let's go back to the associate program and take us down a little journey there, and how that was so instrumental in you changing your business model.
It was everything. When I thought about talking to you today, and it's like, if there's one thing I could change about our industry, our stylists have to get continuing education, right? We have to re-up every 2 years. So we have to have so many hours of continuing education.
Yep.
Tracy and I so strongly feel like the owners should have to have so many hours of continuing education as well.
Amen.
Because,
I agree, for me too.
I mean, we're going on year 29 and we just keep changing. We just keep changing the model, but it worked each time. It works better. So we learned the associate program. It just doubled the volume of our staff and everything just fell into place. It's like, oh my gosh, Tracy and I aren't training our 89th stylists that we've hired. They're being trained by who's on the floor, who's doing the best, the latest, the bestest hair out there. That's who they're being trained by.
And you know what? Explain the program, because of this model, your level 4s absolutely lean into this because it's financially rewarding for them. And it's not an hourly wage or anything that you pay for them. It's when they have help, it speeds up their productivity. And explain that as to why.
Yeah, so I will tell you, we had evaluations yesterday and one of our level 4s works 10 days a month. 10 days a month. So 1 week she works 2 days, the next week 3. And these are only 6-hour days. She sold over $4,000 in retail for the month. And I want to say her service dollar was close to, $11,000, $12,000 for the service for the month. So you can see that's just a few days of work. She's got a life outside of that. She's got her family and 3 children, and yet she gets to make a very lucrative living by just doing more, working smarter.
But Vic, you've got to explain it, because
yes,
without your model, she wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
And there's people that are probably sitting there trying to punch the numbers right now, but tell them why it works for you and what you've done.
Why it works for us is we've always, and everybody in our industry knows how to book. We know how to double book, but the level of power booking or layered booking that we've actually been able to learn with having associates. So if a stylist, a senior stylist, who we call educators, has 2 or 3 associates at her disposal that day, she can book every 15 to 30 minutes with no finish time. So you can imagine the amount of guests that she's getting in that amount of time.
We'll talk about design and labor, Vicki.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it is, because our educators decide and design what is going to be best for that guest that comes in. They're going to take care of all of their needs, whatever their wants are, and they're going to make it happen with all of this extra labor and all of these extra hands that they have available to them, that they have trained themselves.
So let's talk about this, because I am still fascinated by it. I have 10 guests today on my schedule. They're dedicated to me.
Yes.
And everything those 10 guests receive is part of my service volume.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, on those 10 guests, some of them, when I look at what they're receiving today, some of them need design work by me, and some only need labor work. And what you deem labor work is touch-ups.
Right.
What else?
Blowouts.
Blowouts. And so
assisting with foils.
So what happens here is, if I have 5 Terri Cowans that come in, because I receive a touch-up every 3 weeks.
Right.
My touch-ups could be done by this associate, and I don't have to do it, but I am making sure I make connection, oversee, and everything. But I'm not needed for a touch-up as the hairdresser, right?
As the hairdresser, though, you always are greeting your guest. You're doing the consultation and image profile. You're making sure that everything's going well. So you're very connected to your guest. But as far as, sometimes they'll put the root color on together. So they'll get it on in about 5 minutes.
Good.
Sometimes. depends on what they have going on in the day.
And you know what, I guess a couple of things is if I have that kind of day and my system is, I'm grateful for the help because it allows me to expedite
Right.
everything I've got going on. I love that. And then I'm sure that the modules I have to test out as an associate to be able to do a touch up,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
and then,
yes.
and then we say, you're able to do a shampoo, you're able to do a tour, you're able to do a touch up, you're able to, and that's why your people think they have their hands in hair much more than most assistants.
Correct. They have to test out on everything before they're able to actually do it to help out as an associate, and certainly a lot of education before they become a level 1 and have their own day.
But that is so powerful that I know the system allows me to trust these associates because I'm their trainer doing my touch-ups.
My favorite thing is when a guest will say, I know that I can trust anyone at the gallery because you guys make sure of that for us.
Oh.
And it's wonderful. It works very well.
So tell me about the training program itself. What does that look like? If I were to interview and you say, this is what you can expect from us here, and this is how we train talent.
Well, we actually have an associate manual. There's tests in it, there's dialogue, there's specific, just all kinds of specifics that they need to go through before we're even learning about hair, right? So we know that it's 90% people skills. So those are things that are most important to us to make sure that they know what they need to be saying, because they may be on the floor a week after starting with us and actually checking in a guest and bringing them back to that educator's chair and making sure they're comfortable holding the chair when they sit down, making sure they know how to have a guest change into a gown. Nothing's left to chance. It's all scripted. It's all in the manual. They do take tests. We have a couple books that we use for that. And we feel like that's the most important part. Once they get that down and they can do a tour, that kind of thing, then they can start working in the hair. But again, we just, Tracy tested out Libby, one of our newest associates, on root touch up last night. And so Tracy and I are very fortunate. We get our roots touched up a lot because there's always someone needing.
Oh, good. I wish I was closer.
Yeah, no kidding. We would use you.
Terri, there she is again. Oh,
yes, we would love it. Are you kidding?
I would love it. So when you look at, if you had to say, what is the average associate's time frame?
Time frame for applying?
Nope. Start.
Oh.
It depends on the person.
Oh,
it does depend on the person. I had to look to the boss over there.
The boss better get in the picture, I'll tell you.
I know.
Where's she at?
My least favorite thing to do.
There she is. Hi, Trace.
Hi.
Oh my God, you are Lou. I'm interviewing Lou next. He goes, I hate it, Terri. You know, I'm better on the radio than I am on the TV. But Trace, how long are they in the program for usually?
It really depends on the person. You know, I listened to the last podcast and you guys were talking about young people, and, you know, I just think everyone's different. I don't think there's anything, you know, millennially about them, or, you know, I don't want to label anybody because we have found.
I do.
We do hear you.
I know. Well, and I don't mean that bad. I don't mean that you shouldn't.
It's just different.
Yeah, we have some powerhouses, and then we have some people that remind us of ourselves. You know, I think Vicki and I were both extremely shy. I mean, I'm sitting in the corner over here. I don't want to be on camera. I'm still very shy, but I'm also really good at what I do. So I think there's a lot of talent in these young people. They just have to have a voice, and that's one part of our training, is to give them a voice and to show them what they can do.
You just walked into my beautiful thing that I'm talking about with everyone right now. You know, when you see the voice, have you heard me say this already? When
Yes.
you
I
watch
love
the
this.
when you
Oh, the
watch the voice, right?
Yes.
Right.
It's blind auditions and they go, oh yeah, that person can sing, and they chair flips around. And I do it at home too with Steve. I go, okay, I come up and I hit, right? And then when I turn around and I see them and I said, they're not going to go anywhere because they can't sell it with their face, their body language, they can sing, but yeah, God bless them, they're so scared. And that's why they're not going to go further, because it's not inviting. And, you know, I see many hairdressers, okay, I'm going to use this example, that can sing, right? They can cut hair and groom, but they have no presence. And teaching the voice, because that's what it is.
It is.
Teaching the voice and coaching that. Very rarely, I mean, if you've got the God gift of singing, then you have to have the gift of sharing it and just putting that confidence out there. And I think that's what you're teaching.
It's fun for Tracy and I because we get to sit. She calls me the Wizard of Oz because I'm never out on the floor anymore. I'm behind the curtain and I'm in my computer and I'm doing math all the time. But we get to sit back there and evaluate, okay, she maybe not so great as an associate, but gosh, did you see her with that guest that she did on her opportunity shift? We need to move her along faster and get someone else in here. I mean, that's the beautiful thing, is that we can kind of pick that out and pull that out of people. Of course, there's going to be a few that don't make it through our program. But we
Why?
try.
Tell me why they don't make it.
Well,
Terri, you know, because you've created a culture at PSC
Yes.
like no other. And when you walk through your doors, you feel the culture, and here you feel the culture. Sometimes our culture does not allow them to stay, and it has nothing to do with us, you know. And another thing that Vicki and I have learned as leaders, we are not personal at all. We are, you know, if you can do your craft, if you can learn our dialogue, if you can take care of our guests, we don't really want it. We'll celebrate your celebrations with you. But other than that, it is your life. And when you're here, you're on stage, period. The end. We don't really cross personal anymore.
Well, you know, I guess the older I get, I adore my people. And, you know, it's obvious the ones that are easy to be around. And it's obvious the ones that, you know, you've got to really say, stay in here, Terri, stay in here, right? But yeah, I don't hang out with anybody. I can't.
Well, that was a big lesson for us. You know, we've been through it. We've tried, I mean, we're going on 29 years this year. We have tried this business every way I think that is possible to try it. And what we always come back to is, you know, where can we help each individual person fit the best? And Tracy's right, it's all about our culture. And that's the beautiful thing, is that once we created that really, really strong culture, we stick to our guns. This is how it is in here. This is the script. This is what you say. You don't like saying it. Well, this probably isn't the right place for you. Once we really decided that we were going to stick to that culture and make sure that it all goes back to our guests. It's all about our guest.
You know, not to give away all of our secret conversations, but I can remember when your leadership style, the two of you, because you're so nice, right? You're so nice, was all about having them be comfortable.
We were the Red Cross.
Well,
yeah,
and that's
you were the Red Cross. You were the Red Cross.
I still call her the Red Cross sometimes.
Well, I love being the Red Cross, but I don't think that's what people need anymore.
Oh,
you know,
no.
I think they want a really safe environment that they can work and have fun and make money.
Exactly. It's the
Yeah.
structure in the system. And when you started focusing on the system,
Yes.
it allowed your people to rise up. And our
Absolutely.
conversations became less about the emotional side of the business. You know, when you're managing by emotion, God bless you. When you're managing by systems and enhancements and thinking of ways to make their job easier,
It's too much.
it's just hard that way, too hard. I mean, we've laughed till we've cried, right?
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some of the things we tried to make a square peg fit in a round hole.
Yes.
And when you said, here's the system, you got to fit in it or you don't, your life and your bottom line got really healthy.
Yes, absolutely. And Terri, I've been dying to share this story with you. And
Say it.
You've maybe heard this, but I was sharing it with Tracy the other day, and I said, okay, this is how we're starting our staff meeting next Monday. Kelly Ripa from Kelly and Ryan and her husband, Mark Consuelos, were on vacation. I believe it was Amsterdam.
Okay.
And they came across a restaurant. They were needing a place to stop in and have a bite to eat. This is your area of expertise, but they went into the restaurant and they were just so well cared for. They were like just doted on.
It was raining.
And yeah, but but Kelly said, thank God they love Riverdale over here and wherever they were, because Mark is on Riverdale and I guess it's very popular. So she's like, we are, you know, they know us, we're stars, we're getting the best care ever. And she said they sat down and they're starting to have their dining experience and it just starts pouring outside. It's just like a brainstorm. And this poor woman, she said, comes walking in to the front. And she said, everybody gets up and goes to that woman and they've got towels and they're drying her off. They're attached to a hotel. So they go over and get a bathrobe because her shirt was thin and they wanted to make sure she was warm enough and brought her in so that she could be comfortable. And they looked at each other and they said, oh, it wasn't Riverdale. This is the place. And they said every time they're on vacation, on tour, on wherever they are, there's one place that they visit that's got it, that knows how to take care of their guests and knows how to do it right and knows how to make sure that those people in their building are 100% cared for and comfortable. And it made me think of you, and Steve taught us that.
Mhm.
Well, you know, I think about there was a brand new cafe I went into with Steve and it was recommended. And I went in and it, because of, I guess maybe because social distancing, it wasn't a warm atmosphere. But, you know, I'm cutting people a whole lot of slack for that because there needs to be more tables in there. But right now they pulled them out. The food was really good. The service was terrible. And you know, what I think about, I mean, this service, you guys know me well enough. This service was, she said everything she did, everything. Can I take that pepper? I'm going to take that salt. I'll fill you. I'm going to take that sugar. I'm going to get a creamer. Do you want cream? Do you need another fork? Here's another napkin. Oh my God. I said,
no way.
If she says one more thing out loud, and it took us a long time to get coffee. And I said, we were with the two children and I said, I've got to have some coffee, which Emma wants to just die when I create a little scene. But I was there long enough and I needed coffee. But the service was so bad. Nice girl. See, that's the point. Very nice girl. But no one taught her how to do it the right way.
Absolutely.
Terri, you're our, I don't know, our monitor when we go out to dinner.
Yes.
We're always like, oh, Terri would love this, or Terri would hate this.
Oh, I'm sure I had my face on. I mean, she was one that, are you finished with it? And the plate's completely empty. Just, you don't have to serve and say the obvious. You just serve in silence. I mean, if I would have trained her, I would say, shut up. Now go over there and shut up. And
the thing is, it's not her fault.
It's not her fault, right?
She wasn't taught.
I said that to Steve. I said, oh, the training program here is horrible.
Yeah.
And, when we look at, you never have to speak your service that's obvious. You only have to speak about your enhancements. And it's amazing to me. I used to love when I was teaching people how to serve, when a table would say to me, when did she clean all this? I didn't even see her do it.
Yes.
That's the best compliment, that you serve in silence.
Right.
And you speak your enhancement. So I'm going to speak about a cocktail order. I'm going to speak about the dinner order. I'm not going to speak about what's obvious. I don't have to say, here's your cheese and crackers or whatever at the gallery. I just present it.
Yes.
Right? Are you
Right.
done with your cheese? There's none in there. Right? Yes, my cheese bowl's empty. But that's what people they have to be taught that. Right?
Unfortunately, I mean, to us, sometimes we're like, oh, this is common sense, but
It's not.
it's not.
It's not.
You got to go over it. Yes.
If you're a coffee drinker, don't ask me if I want more coffee. Just do it.
bring it. Yeah.
Just do it.
Yes.
So how do those relate to, and I guess in the salon, I always try to see what's natural. And you guys have decided to make your service stand out. I mean, your little cheese, I look forward to it when I'm there, and I've only had it a couple times. I'm thinking, where's the cheese? I got to have to bring the cheese out. Did you stop that during COVID?
We had to.
Yes.
Is it back yet?
Not yet.
Well,
Drinks aren't really back yet.
We can't serve coffee yet.
Yeah.
So we are dying to get back to that, that little extra, that warmth that we can offer. We're still having to do the 6-foot distance and at our processing table. So it's still a little bit rough. We're ready to get back to normal.
So what were your optics? I mean, see, I look at COVID as a messy room, we've got lines going down the hallway, green,
Yes.
don't step. And then I'm probably the worst one to remember my mask on. I hate it.
Yes.
But what's hard is, how are these hairdressers? I go into Target and I almost faint. I'm in Target in 2 seconds. It's too hot for me. I can't breathe. And how is your staff doing it?
I don't know how they do it either, Terri. She'll come in from, hours and hours doing hair and having that mask on still, and the girls, and they get hot, and I don't know.
I think you get used to it. And sometimes if you wear glasses, to take your mask off is just asking to create that. Anybody that wears glasses, you're going to get fog.
Mm-hmm.
But once the mask has been on for a period of time, you don't get that anymore. So sometimes I don't even want to take my mask off. And I think the girls are very used to it. And I do think it, thank goodness for masks, because I've been doing hair since we were able to open, and I've seen hundreds of people, and I have not gotten COVID. So I know they work. So I just, I know they do.
But
So I'm not going to complain about masks.
What are you both most proud of when someone says to you, the gallery? What are you most proud of as your partnership, or what is it? Because
we're pretty proud of our partnership.
We're real proud of our partnership.
We've heard so many stories, and we've been asked so many times, please explain to us how you guys do it. Can we interview you on that, or can we pick your brains? Absolutely. But I don't know. I mean, we look at each other all the time and just say, I think it just was the right chemistry with the right personalities. And you both have to give 110%, and nobody can have an ego.
No,
because you just can't. You cannot have an ego in that work.
Well, you know what I most admire about both of you is your friendship, of course, and then of course I want to be in the circle too. So
you are,
yeah, of course you are.
Circle. I gotta get in the circle with the girls, and our whole company knows I call you the girls, right? So I just think that's funny. But when I look at through tragedy,
Yeah.
Vicki decided to be a managing director, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And Tracy decided to be the main trainer and stay on the floor and contribution. Most people wouldn't be able to, they would keep score on that. And
We didn't have a choice though, Terry. We didn't. I think honestly, Vicki and I love each other. We do. It's more than partnership now. You can't be with a person for almost 33 years and not grow to love them. But
well, and you've witnessed it a lot at each other in this friendship, and I love that. And well, I love it and I admire it because I know the year I've had. And I haven't seen you guys in a long time, but yeah, it kicked my tail. And but at the same time, I mean, Steve thinks that I think I hid a little bit last year. I was hiding.
Sure, of course.
didn't everybody though, Terry?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and hiding is a weird thing when you're expected not to hide, right? I mean, I could have, if I found a closet in our house that was deep enough, I probably would have moved in it. And but yeah, I was hiding. And while I was hiding, I realized I wasn't creative. My thoughts weren't as open as usual, much more quiet. And Trace, I've said to you privately, thank God you were there for Vicki. And thank God the business was something that nurtured you both too.
right.
I don't know how to say it any better than that. But
She protected me.
Mhm.
She came in and said, this is how it's going to go because
Good.
this is what you need. And I will forever be grateful
I still
for
say
that.
that.
Yeah.
I still say that. I'm like, you could make it out there. But
and I'm like, you couldn't make it in here.
I can't. We just had this conversation. She's like, okay, Trace, we got to get serious here. I have to show you how to do this stuff.
You need to see the numbers as much as I see them.
But Terri,
yes.
on that creative thing, when you're creative, when I did not have an outlet, I drove everyone crazy. Probably Vicki, definitely my significant other was like, please go away, because you need that outlet, and there was no outlet, and you were stuck, and there was no future, and it was just the weirdest thing.
You're right. It was strange. And I guess, have I moved on from it? I don't know if I have.
It takes time.
Oh, it certainly well, and I'm talking about, when COVID was at its peak, the business was shut down. But my mom was near end of life, and I didn't know that. And so that was keeping me busy and preoccupied. So I really never felt the COVID shutdown, because I had to turn my attention to her. And then I lost her on April 27th, and then we opened back up. I think the staff was in complete return in June, but it just didn't feel right. Everything just felt weird. It was a craziness. But one of the questions we asked, I don't know if you've heard this, but we brought our whole team together, and Steve said, okay, I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at with COVID? And some people were like 0, Trish, church, 0. And I thought, wow. And then you had other people like Brian, I'm still at a 10. How do you manage that? I mean, you've got people on a 10 and people at a 0, and leadership's got to figure that out. But that's not just in COVID. That is, where are you at in your development? Where are you at on your confidence level? Where are you at feeling a fit here at the gallery? Where that scale of 1 to 10, that's really important to know the differences between the two.
It is. And I will say, with our evaluations and being able to check in with each person individually, like that's just our time with them. And when we were locked down, that was really difficult because we felt like you said, it's weird. We were so isolated from everyone, and we try and do the Zooms, and Tracy and I'd be like, well, why are we the only ones on the camera? Everybody else is in their pajamas and we can't see them,
Yes.
you know?
Get
And
that camera on.
yeah, it was like we wanted that camaraderie, you know, that connection. And I think all of us felt that loss in that moment, in that time. And it is just so nice to start to see that light at the end of the tunnel.
I brought some educators back, 2 teams. I think it was the Z1 educator team and I think the Depot guys. And they wanted me in with them for a couple hours. And I said, the first hour, I just want to know where you're at in life. I mean, how much has this hit you? You know, and there was a lot of tears. I mean, all that built up. And they said, why do we always cry with you? I said, I don't know. I'm just asking some questions.
The same reason we always laugh with you.
So, and what's amazing to me is how much did people go through during that time?
Right.
And where is the mental health? And I'm sure because of Gallery's culture and disciplines, that became a safe place for your team.
We will do anything to keep this a safe place for our team. That is number one.
Yeah.
And
So,
safe just doesn't mean the optics or hand sanitizer.
No,
Safe
no.
is we have each other's back, right?
Absolutely. There is no toxicity. There is no bullying. There is none of it. There's just no room for any of it. It's got to be, everybody's got to be playing on the same team, or, you know, they're not on the bench, they leave. So that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So
We just did it.
what are you most proud of besides the partnership?
Endurance, probably.
Well,
I would say the team we built. I
Yeah,
mean, you know,
absolutely.
I mean, it's not like we built them, but
yes,
know,
it is.
well, no, it's like they want to hang out with us, and that's a privilege. So I
This
think
team is amazing.
it is.
Amazing.
I mean, you know, is it Wynn that always says find who you want to play
Hang
with
out
and-
with.
Yeah.
Play
and-
with on the playground. Well, I can
Yes.
remember, I don't know how many years ago, let's say it's 15 or 20, but I can remember, Terry, I don't know how we're going to pay our rent, right? I don't know how we bought this building. We should,
Oh, sure.
building,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And,
oh yes.
And we'll rent this side out and oh my God, we'll take the small side. They can have the big side. We'll take the big side. They'll have the small side. I can remember all those conversations.
We just did what we had to do. And we talked about this yesterday. It's
Survival.
like, does your mind ever stop racing? And I'm like, no. We decided our minds are never still.
Never. And yeah, I'm sure yours isn't either, Terry.
Absolutely.
Well, and you know, I walked in the last time I was down. So what's it? A year and a half ago, maybe. And I walked in and I said, why are they still here? Right? The boutique. I said, I think it's time. You need to, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always moving a wall when I'm down there. And I think that's the coolest thing. And now tell us about what this side has meant to you, because it is so mindfulness and wellness. It just speaks that to me.
It's been just a labor of love. So we opened our spa side. We've had a tenant in this side until we decided, no, we're going to take that over. Our skincare was just growing. We actually have, I believe, 8 designers that also do skincare and peels and all of those things. So we wanted to open this side up and make it a really just lovely skincare boutique. And then COVID kind of helped it. We were a year in and it was doing really well. And COVID said, when we open back up, you can do hair, but there's no facials, there's no, so Tracy and I are like, well, it does say boutique in the name.
We've always wanted to do
We've
that.
always wanted to do that. So we love that our guests can process and walk around and shop. And so we just brought in some of our favorite things, which is really where our heart was bringing in our favorite lines, our favorite things, not on a huge scale, but it's been just a great success, and it's been comfortable, and it's just gone over really well. We're proud of that.
Good. So where is the skincare division now?
Skincare is open. It opened back up as of, was it January or February, I believe. They opened it for a minute and then they shut it back down in November. So these girls have really, God love them, they have really taken the roller coaster ride right along with us with their books, and they've just made miraculous, I don't know, decisions, just come up with ideas and done different things to make it work. But now we're fully back open with the skincare side. And so we're able to do all of that. The only thing we really aren't able to do yet that we love to do are parties, where we'll do a peel party or we'll do a hair
God,
party.
yes, do it.
And so now they're brainstorming on how to do this virtual, and we're putting together little boxes to send to all the guests so they can do a peel along with us at home.
Nice.
Yeah, so lots of fun things, lots of fun ideas have come out of the necessity of it.
So what are the big three plans for 2021, the rest of the year?
Education.
Yeah.
We have a fairly new staff. We have a lot of associates. We have 4 people going on maternity leave.
All at the same time.
All at the same
Of
time.
course. No, is there any other way?
No, it gets in the water.
So we will be finding a new front desk staff because Maggie will not be coming back. She's going to grow her family. And she's our salon manager. I know.
We're still in denial.
Yeah, we're in denial. But she said she would help us. So I'm, I can't lose my arms right now.
Right.
She's like both my arms. But that, so we have to get that covered. And I think so that's 2: education, finding a front desk staff that, fits us, and
continuing to grow. We've heard the statistic that every month that you're not in the beauty schools recruiting is a year without a new employee. And
I've never heard that.
It's so very important to be in those schools.
Well, yeah, you've got to, I always say to people, you've got to be the household name. You've got
absolutely.
You've got to hit the top 3 of their list of where should we go? Gallery. Where should you go? Gallery, right? You want to be on that list.
Absolutely. And now that our associates are turning over so quickly, they really want to be on our list.
What's capacity, number of hairdressers the gallery can have? Active hairdressers.
We're shifting right now. So that's been really so worth it. We have a smaller parking lot.
I know.
Shifting enabled us to double our volume though of hairstylists being able to work. So that 8 to 2, 2 to 8 shift. So we have a whole different, group of people come in the afternoon to work. So that's helped immensely.
On the creative airheady side that I'm always flying on, I would say we have no capacity. But, that's just, pie in the sky.
We're lucky we bought a 5,000 square foot building. Obviously, we were able to tear out the loft while we were closed down. And like you said, on the other side that you want to see, we're fine tuning that. So we haven't hit capacity with being able to make these changes. If we hit capacity, if we're growing that much that we hit capacity and we need more space, then we're going to need another space.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
See, you sell it again.
Yeah, we're shifting and we're 6 feet apart right now. So it is, I probably know what capacity is, but I don't want to say that there's a capacity.
So don't say it.
Yeah.
But I am, I think about everything. I hope and I encourage you to look at and write everything down, because we make changes and enhancements and then we forget to go back and complement our efforts. I write down every enhancement when it comes to services, systems, people, facility, and the noise we make. And I write those down all the time, and I keep them right in my office. So for the year, I can see what kind of enhancements have we made. And you know, I'll put under people, I'll put a negative if I lose someone, I put a positive when we hire someone. I want to see the ins and outs. I'm glancing that. I have to have a visual billboard of what we're doing.
We built that this morning.
Yeah, we did, but we also have a frog that should have been top of mind for our goal. And this has been Vicki's baby, and it's been so difficult. Is our new
Mascot?
target. No, our new mascot. Yes, we
call it our frog because it's that thing that you want to put last, and we need to eat our frog first thing.
Right.
But we are working on rebranding the entire salon right now. So we've got our new brand. We've decided on it. It's beautiful. We're excited to get everything redone. We're working on our website right now. Our new website needs to have a shopping cart. So
Are you changing your logo and everything?
Yes. Yes.
Well, yeah, not our name, but our logo.
Yes. Our logo is
I
changed. It's beautiful. It's streamlined. It's very classy.
Send it to me. I want to see it.
Okay, we will. I'll send it to you. So that's exciting, but it also has been a lot of work kind of behind the scenes, getting all that done. So we're working on that right now.
Well, I've got some great things to share with you, but of course not during this call, but I can't wait to let you know. You always think, God, am I ever going to have new ideas? And I can watch a commercial and get a new idea, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I was on something. I went to church for an Easter, not to church. I was watching it online, and I couldn't believe before the church, and this is all by volunteers, the way that they did their announcements to the church. I thought, ooh, that's good. And then when they announced something, we were covering Luke all during Lent, the way they introduced Luke, it was like watching a movie. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's better than what I do with education. I've got to do something to create those magical moments. So yeah, I'm reinventing our education too. And I'm excited about it.
I love that. That's another thing we're really looking forward to, getting back to PSC and getting our girls up there.
Well, and also, if you need virtual education for your staff, let's do it.
Okay.
You know, I mean, a class request doesn't have to be status quo. Tell us what you need, and we'll do it for you. Girls, thank you. I just adore you. I can't even say it.
We adore you so much.
Yes. Yep.
I can't wait to take the train down my little trip.
Yes.
And where do we go? We go to Cooper's Hawk, and we have our little
TJ Maxx.
Our little routine.
Yes.
Right?
TJ Maxx is hurting.
Yeah. They need us. We miss you.
Yeah.
Oh, we miss you terribly. And so I'll probably give you a call too, because there's some things I want to discuss with you. Not today, of course. I'm going to do Lou now, and he's going to need oxygen after he records. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, Terri.
Thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh. The honor's all mine. And let's talk soon.
Sounds good.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.